All right, there we go. That's much better. All right. So hopefully I got the technical difficulties worked out, but good morning, YouTube. Welcome to my live stream of Mornings with Mike. I've got my coffee. So whether you're watching this live or after the fact, grab your coffee and let's get into it. Today, I wanted to talk about the iPhone SE, specifically um, the price of it and kind of is it worth it? Is it a good thing? So it looks like I got two folks. So real quick, if you guys can just shoot a message, let me know if you can hear me and if you can see me before I am talking and spinning my wheels. Sweet. Can you hear me okay there, Sergio? So awesome. All right. So, like I said, I know there may or may not be people that jump on here, but you can watch this after the fact. But I really wanted to talk about the iPhone SE coming out and kind of what your thoughts are. But me, I think it's a great thing as far as the price. So, like I said, obviously the iPhone SE coming out is uh, basically an iPhone 8 with modern internals, which is not necessarily a bad thing because there's a market for that. And like it or not, Apple drives the market prices. So Apple is really the first one to push phones to go over the $1,000 price tag. So they kind of drove the market. So once Apple did it, then Samsung followed and actually passed Apple with the most expensive phones. So I'm hoping by Apple releasing this iPhone SE 2020 starting at $499 that it's going to cause the other manufacturers and the market to react to it. So to me, I look at that as a good thing, whether you're an Apple fan or not. I think they're going to drive the market. And of course, this competes directly with things like the Pixel 3a, LG phones. I mean, some of the cheaper phones, the Samsung A series. So this is going to cause all those the prices to drop, which the Pixel 3a actually dropped to $299. So if you've been wanting to get one of those, I would check it out. Sorry, I had to get my coffee. But to me, that's I think the most important thing of the iPhone SE is it's going to drive the market down, which is good for the consumers. So we don't have to pay $1,000 to get phones anymore. So I think it's a good thing. So personally, yesterday morning I pre-ordered the iPhone SE. I mean, I'm not a huge iPhone fan except for their camera. So right now I'm rocking the Galaxy Note 10 Plus, which I like quite a bit. But for the price tag of the iPhone, I couldn't help it, so I went ahead and ordered it. Hey, Michael from UK, glad. So, like I said, if you're just joining in, I've been talking about the iPhone SE, and you can go back and watch this after the fact if you want. But I want to talk about the big thing I was focusing on was the price. Like I said, this thing starts at $399, and then of course, even if you max it out to 256 gigabytes of storage, it's only going to be $549. So for an iPhone, that's like dirt cheap. Now, obviously, $400, especially this time of day or this time in the world with the pandemic and all that crap going on, is a lot of money. But when it comes to Apple products, it's not a lot of money if you know anything about Apple. So, like I said, I pre-ordered mine yesterday morning when it went live. I pre-ordered it from T-Mobile, so hopefully I'll have it next week. But like I said, my daily driver is a Note 10. I mean, I've been an Android fan. I go back and forth. The last iPhone I ordered or used was actually the iPhone 10R, which I had that over a year ago, and I ended up giving it to my daughter and just going back to Samsung and Android just because I enjoy those phones more. But the main reason I'm ordering the iPhone SE is I'm curious about the camera performance. I know it's got the same cameras from the iPhone 8. However, I do know that with the A13 Bionic chip, the computational photography is going to be leaps and bounds above the 8. So that's kind of why I want to try it. I want to try to compare the pictures against the Note 10 Plus or any other phone for that fact. So that's the main reason I ordered it. So I see that Sergio, you were talking about ordering it from T-Mobile, I think. Yeah. So anybody else planning on getting this thing? I don't know. That says Michael UK. I'm assuming you're in the UK. Not sure if it's going to be launching there the same time it launches here in the States. Um, but obviously, I know I'm not going to be the only one that orders the thing, and all your giant tech reviewers are probably all going to order it and or have it sent to them. But me, I'm just a lowly little tech guy, so I got to buy all my own crap. But so yeah, so real quick, let's talk about the specs of this thing. So like I mentioned, it's going to be, you know, essentially an iPhone 8, but it's going to come in three colors: your black, your white, and your red. You can get it in either 64 gigabyte, 128 gigabyte, or 256. And the big thing here is it's going to have only a 4.7-inch screen, which, you know, 3 years ago, even 5 years ago, that was considered kind of the norm or a big screen. But now, this thing has got a 6.7-inch display or 6.8. So it's going to kind of feel odd going back to a smaller phone. But it is going to bring back the Touch ID, which I think is not necessarily a bad thing because it's super reliable. I think it works well. And a lot of older folks, they just don't like Face ID. Um, they don't care if it's a edge to edge display. They want something that's simple and something that works. So I think that's also going to be a big market for the iPhone SE. So just like all the other tech guys said, I think that it's going to um, sell like crazy. So, like I said, I pre-ordered. I know if you're pre-ordering now, the ship dates have gotten pushed out into May. So obviously people are ordering this thing like crazy. But like I said, it's got the iPhone 8 design, Touch ID, 4.7-inch display. And what I'm excited about, again, is you're able to shoot 4K 60 with the rear camera of this. So I'm curious what the quality is going to be because of the chip. Like I said, the hardware of the camera is going to be the same as the iPhone 8. So the hardware obviously is not going to be this good as like an iPhone 11 Pro Max or something like that. But with the computational part, same as Google, that's a huge part of it. And I think it's going to be pretty good. So I'm excited about it. Of course, it's IP67, so you can get it wet. Just don't dunk it. Like I said, the camera is a 12 megapixel for the rear, 7 megapixel for the front. And again, you can record either 24, 30, or 60 at 4K on the rear, which is the main thing I want to test, is just how the video quality is of the thing. And then on the front, you can do only 1080p. But unless you're a vlogger who likes to use the front face camera, it's not a big deal. But I mean, 1080p still looks good. So what you're seeing now is from I'm using my Surface Pro X to record this. So it's a 1080p camera. So for the front. So to me, that quality is pretty good. But like I said, those are the prices and kind of the specs of it. I think it's going to be, for an iPhone, I think it's going to be pretty good, even though essentially Apple's using their parts bin because, they produce literally millions of phones every year. So they probably got warehouses full of this crap. But taking the A13 and putting it inside, I think is going to be a huge bump, which should also improve the battery life of it as well. So traditionally, smaller iPhones just have crappy battery life. It's hard to make it through a day, but with the improvement in the chips, it also improves the efficiency of the battery. So it should be an all-day phone, which again, I'm going to test when I get mine next week, hopefully. So, but to me, I think it's a good thing. I think Apple's hopefully going to drive down the market where phones will stop going into almost the $2,000 range and come back down to earth where us mere mortals can afford them. So, all right. So let's see. Just seeing if there's any questions. Yep. And the camera software. So Sergio saying, I hope the camera software tweaks on the SE is legit. For everything else is good. So yeah, I think the software is going to be what makes this phone great. I think honestly, the camera, because of the software, I think is going to be the best feature of the SE. Like I said, a lot of older folks, not to say there's anything wrong with being older, just kind of like iPhones because they're simpler, I think, than Android. And they like that original design. Like I've got some relatives that are still holding on to some iPhone SEs and before, because they like that simple design. They like Touch ID. They don't want Face ID. And the thing about iPhones is they do just work and they support their stuff a lot longer with software updates than, say, Samsung. I mean, unfortunately, like I said, this is a Note 10 Plus. It's got Android 10. It'll probably get Android 11 like a year after it comes out, and that'll probably be the last major update this phone gets, unfortunately. Whereas if you've got an iPhone 7, even 6S Plus, you're still getting those latest iOS updates. So sweet, Sergio. Yep. So yeah, camera quality looks good. Right now I've got two studio lights facing me. Hopefully the sound is coming through this mic, but I'm doing all this off my Surface Pro X, which I've done a review of it. If you guys are interested, you can check that out on my channel. But the camera on this is pretty good. I'm more than impressed. You guys can see all my crap going on here because I just woke up. But all right, so does anybody have any questions or thoughts on the iPhone SE or anything for that matter? So like I said, I'm trying to make this I call it mornings with Mike. So I'm trying to do it just as a live stream, probably maybe every Saturday or something. So a lot of people obviously don't want to wake up too early on Saturday, but that's why it's called Mornings with Mike. So if you don't want to wake up, you can actually obviously watch this after the fact because I will post this. But for the most part, I'm just trying to keep uploading because I took about a year plus off. So I'm trying to do at least one video a week, whether it be a live stream or review or whatever. So, and there's probably a delay, obviously, from when you guys hear what I'm saying from when I'm saying it. So, any questions for all four of you guys that are listening, or three of you? So, I don't want to drag this out too long if I don't. But like I said, if you are tuning in later, I am going to get the iPhone SE. I actually pre-ordered it from T-Mobile. So I went ahead and got the 128 gigabyte version in product red. And so I'm looking forward to that. I've always been a fan of iPhone's product red. I think that's kind of their coolest looking one. Because obviously I like the red theme stuff. If you've watched my channel, black and red's my favorite color combination. So okay. So let's see. Any other questions? So, but again, if you come in and watch this after the fact, because most people probably aren't going to want to wake up too early on a Saturday, I'll answer those as well. But like I said, I am excited about it, mostly because I want, hopefully, Apple to drive the other manufacturers to lower their prices. Because right now, it's just ridiculous how much it costs to get a new phone. I mean, the S20 Ultra, you're looking at $1,400. I mean, for the base model, which is ridiculous. So it's going to keep going up unless somebody does something. So that's one thing I like about Apple is they're so powerful. They basically control the market. So whether they drive the price up or down, the other manufacturers are going to follow. And Sergio asked, what is your daily driver? So like I said, I've currently got the Galaxy Note 10 Plus. I enjoy it quite a bit. I did have the LG V60, which you can again see the review of that. I just ended up returning it just because the software was driving me nuts. But I am a fan of Samsung One UI, aka TouchWiz is what it used to be called. But if I had to pick, that's probably my favorite OS. But I do like iPhones for the sheer fact of their video quality when it comes to recording video, and the ability to AirDrop is probably my favorite iPhone. But I probably go back and forth to iPhone about every other year. So I'll rock Samsung for a year, then I'll go to iPhone. And then one of my daughters ends up getting the old iPhone because they only use iPhones. But yeah, so honestly, Michael UK is asking about Linux. I've honestly never used Linux. I've seen it, but I've just never messed with it. So I've always either been Mac or Windows. And again, comes in waves for me. Like I'll use Mac OS for a couple years and then I'll switch to Windows. But I've been on Windows 10 now for probably 3 years. So I just haven't really had a desire to switch back to Mac OS. So I definitely prefer Windows 10 now. I'm not saying it's any better or worse. I just prefer it just because I'm used to it. So let's see. Drinking my coffee still. I'm a bit of a coffee snob, so I like French press and stuff. So my morning ritual, I like to get up, make my coffee. Happiest part of my day. All right. So anyway, if anybody has got any more questions, if not, like I said, this video I've been talking about the iPhone SE. Pre-ordered it, excited to get it. Looking forward to trying it out and posting my review of it and see if it can actually convince me to switch back to iOS. Obviously, the phone's not going to have top tier specs when it comes to screen and all that because it's literally got iPhone 8 components. A lot of people are going to hate on that, but you can't hate on that price tag, especially when you're getting the A13, which love or hate Apple, that chip will blow anything any other phone manufacturer's got out of the water when it comes to just performance. I mean, the S20 Ultra's got the 865, but Apple, I don't know what voodoo magic they use on their chips, but they are definitely good at building chips. So, all right. I appreciate that, Michael from UK or Michael UK. Any other questions before I wrap this thing up? Like I said, at least here in the States, not a lot of people probably up and on YouTube this early. But I do plan on doing this maybe once a week, and hopefully it'll start to grow and more people will tune in. But I'll just pick a topic and do my mornings with Mike on probably Saturday mornings. But I'll be sure to post a reminder so people will be able to know. So, all right. So with that, that was my live thoughts on the iPhone SE. I'm actually excited to get it in my hands. I'm excited that Apple did it to hopefully drive other manufacturers to lower their prices. So for you guys tuning in after the fact, what are your thoughts? Leave it in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. So, and as always, I hate asking people to subscribe, but I do want to grow my channel. So if you've not subscribed, I would appreciate if you did it. But other than that, I'm going to sign off on this live stream. I'm going to try and do another one at least once a week in the morning. So that is pretty much it. I appreciate you guys that are actually watching live and commenting. Before I sign off, I'll answer one last question. Again, Michael UK is asking about the red Chromebook, which I would love to get my hands on just because of the aesthetics of it. But every video I've watched to that, the battery life is horrendous on it. So that would be a hard pass on me because the thing costs like $1,000. But aesthetically, I think it looks awesome. But all right. So anyways, let me go ahead and sign off. So hope you all have a great day. Stay safe in all this quarantine stuff, and hopefully it blows over soon. And feel free to check out my other videos on my channel. Have a good one.